Left 4 Dead finales are very hit or miss in terms of quality and challenge. Some of them are an absolute nightmare while others are very easy. There are a lot of factors to take into consideration like the game mode and difficulty. It's been a while since I did a ranking video and I figured this would be a fun topic. So today we're going to be ranking the finales in Left 4 Dead 2 from easiest to hardest. Let's quickly lay out my criteria. First, I'm going to do my best to take all game modes into consideration. Secondly, all difficulties will also be taken into consideration, but mainly advanced and expert. Now, with all the ground rules out of the way, let's get started. The easiest finale, in my opinion, is Dead Center, and it's for one simple reason. If you have a team of 4 solid players who know what they're doing, you can finish this finale in under 2 minutes. Simply split up into 2 teams and make sure everybody has a sniper rifle. Even if somebody gets grabbed by a special infected, odds are you'll have line of sight on most if not all of your teammates because of this level's verticality. In versus mode, it's not much better. Even with smart coordinated attacks, a full survivor team all equipped with sniper rifles is very hard to beat. Overall, it's a very easy finale. Next up we have Dark Carnival. Dark Carnival has one of my favorite finales in the entire game, but that doesn't mean it's a challenge. What makes this finale so easy is the fact that there's almost nothing to break line of sight. The concert is very wide open, and it's very easy to pick a spot and start blasting away. In versus mode especially, this is a terrible chapter for the infected team. There's almost no good spawns, and even when the tank rolls in, the area is so wide open you'll get shredded in seconds. There are a lot of defend your position finales in this game, and Dark Carnival is certainly the easiest in that category. Next on the list is Dead Air. Take everything I said about Dark Carnival and tone it down a few notches. Like seriously, both of these finales have the exact same problem in my opinion. Wide open area, minimal spawns for the infected team, and it's also a very short walk from the safe room to the plane, making this yet another survivor-sided finale. The tank can use luggage carts to instantly down survivors, though hiding behind nearby vehicles or debris is a simple counter to this. Dead Air is a very solid campaign, but its finale is not that great, from both a quality and challenge perspective. At number 11 we have No Mercy. No Mercy is another fun finale that falls on the easy side. What puts this above the other finales is the rooftop. All it takes is one tank or charger and you are as good as dead. Do your best to stay near the center of the rooftop and watch out for smokers trying to pull you down. If you do that, you should be fine. The survivors have plenty of supplies and good spots to hold out, making this a relatively easy finale in any difficulty setting. The rooftop is also surprisingly large, so running out of space shouldn't be a problem as long as you watch your positioning. I gave it the edge over the other campaigns because of the depth charge potential, but still, this is one of the easiest finales from the first game. Next up we have Blood Harvest. Blood Harvest is another defend your position finale from Left 4 Dead 1 that doesn't do anything special, and yet for some reason I really do like this finale. You have a farmhouse and a barn, and both are reliable spots to hold out. The special infected have a lot of places to spawn, and the tank even has a log that can instantly down survivors, making this finale a little harder in versus mode. Boomers and spitters do very well here, so be mindful when you're holding out inside the house. That aside, however, the finale of Blood Harvest can be completed with relative ease. Overall, it's a solid finale that once again lacks the actual challenge. Number 9 is Hard Rain. Hard Rain is about on par with Blood Harvest in terms of challenge. I gave it the edge because of the limited visibility and the nearby body of water that can be used to instantly kill survivors. Granted, it's very hard to do, but you can do it. Holding out on the rooftop is the most reliable strategy. The level being flooded also means that Molotov cocktails are a lot less effective against tanks, so that's another thing to watch out for. Smart infected players will take full advantage of this, making the tank encounters a lot more difficult, even for experienced survivor teams. Aside from that, however, the Hard Rain finale is pretty easy, especially with all the supplies that you have on hand. Up next is Death Toll. Death Toll takes the edge over Hard Rain for a few reasons. First of all, just like with Hard Rain, there's a nearby body of water that can be used to instantly kill survivors. Again, it's hard to do, but it's still a factor to consider. Secondly, the survivors have to walk a few minutes before actually reaching the boathouse. If you're unlucky, you'll get a tank spawn once you get past the backyard. Expert runs on this finale can certainly have its annoyances. The boathouse is also very small, making it a dangerous place to fight the special infected. Those factors aside, the Death Toll finale can be managed just fine. Just be mindful of your positioning and don't get instantly killed by the tank. Now we're getting to the finales that pose an actual challenge, starting with Crash Course. Crash Course is a difficult finale for one reason. You have to walk quite the distance to actually reach the truck depot, making expert runs on this finale especially hard. If you're unlucky, you could be down a medkit before you even turn on the generator. On top of fighting the infected hordes, the generator also breaks during the finale, meaning someone has to restart it. Almost all the defend your position finales from Left 4 Dead 1 lacks actual challenge, but Crash Course is certainly the exception. mostly because of the long run to the truck depot, which makes this finale very annoying on advanced and expert difficulty runs. Number 6 is Swamp Fever. Swamp Fever is another holdout finale that poses an actual challenge. First of all, there's a bit of a walk until you actually reach the plantation house. It's not nearly as bad as Crash Course, but it's still something to consider. More importantly, when the second wave of infected rolls in, instead of dealing with one tank, you have to fight two. Fighting tanks has certainly gotten easier over the years, but if you're playing single player on max difficulty, this is one of the hardest finales in the game. Without sugarcoating it, the double tank spawn is what earns Swamp Fever this high of a ranking. With good players, it's obviously way easier, but two tanks are still incredibly dangerous. We've officially hit the top 5, and up next we have the Passing. This finale is very similar to Dead Center in that you're grabbing gas cans to fill up a generator. On top of that, you have the Left 4 Dead 1 survivors helping you out. So why is the Passing way harder than Dead Center? Well, it's for a few reasons. In Dead Center, because of the map's small and unique design that relies on its verticality, you can grab a gas can, walk a few steps, and immediately discard it by throwing the gas can on the first floor. Splitting up is also a reliable strategy because it's surprisingly easy to keep line of sight on your teammates, especially if everybody is using a sniper rifle. In the Passing, however, the gas cans are a lot more spread out and the map is much larger, so splitting up is a lot more dangerous, especially in versus mode. The tanks also have plenty of cars and dumpsters to instantly down survivors. This can be countered by running into any of the nearby buildings, but it's still something to consider. It should also be noted that in versus mode, the Left 4 Dead 1 survivors don't even spawn. This was a hard one to place, because if you're lucky or have a very solid team, you can finish this finale very fast. But on harder difficulties, this is one of the hardest finales in the game, especially if you're playing by yourself. Just outside the top 3, we have the Sacrifice. The Sacrifice is another finale that changes up the typical formula. Instead of defending your position or grabbing gas cans, the survivors have to turn on 3 generators spread across the map. Here's the kicker. A tank and a horde will spawn every time you turn on a generator, which means you have to fight, at maximum, 3 tanks before you can even lower the bridge. And at the end of this finale, a generator breaks and somebody has to go and restart it, once again throwing a wrench into the typical formula. In single players, it's manageable with a single pipe bomb, but in versus mode, this finale is much, much harder. The infected team will be patiently waiting by the generator ready to impede your progress. It should also be noted that once the generator breaks, 4 tanks will spawn. That's right, 4. So that generator needs to be restarted as soon as humanly possible. In any game mode, this finale is a lot of fun, and the challenge is certainly there. Tanks are nothing new, but having to fight 3 in a row is what makes this finale so difficult. We've officially hit the top 3, and I tell you now, these were incredibly difficult to rank, so I'd love to see your own rankings down below. Anyway, taking home the bronze medal, we have Coldstream. The finale of Coldstream is very similar to the Parish. The survivors have to push through the infected hordes to reach a helicopter on the other side of the forest. Regardless of the game mode, this is one of the hardest finales in the entire game. There's a guaranteed tank spawn halfway through the level, plenty of narrow choke points, and a limited amount of supplies. On advanced and expert runs, this finale is a massive pain in the ass. Your pipe bomb and bio bomb throws have to be perfect if you want to get out alive. There's also plenty of infected ladders and line of sight breakers, so the infected have plenty of places to spawn. Without sugarcoating it, most of the finales in this game have you defending your position while fighting off the infected hordes. In Coldstream, however, you're on the offensive, pushing through the infected hordes as fast as you possibly can. This simple change is what elevates Coldstream this high on the list. Especially on expert difficulty runs, this finale is an absolute fucking nightmare. The second hardest finale, in my opinion, is the Parish. The Parish is another finale where you have to push through the level and make it to a helicopter on the other side. The reason why I put the Parish above Coldstream is because the bridge itself is one massive death trap. There are holes in the road and little to no guardrails, meaning it's very easy to get instantly killed by a tank or charger. Other special infected like the Jockey and Smoker also do really well here. It's very easy to pull a survivor either off the bridge or into a hole to set up a death charge or waste time. And just like with Coldstream, there's a guaranteed tank spawn by the end of the bridge. Quick confession, whenever I'm playing Left 4 Dead on my free time, I'm almost always playing versus mode. It's been my go-to game mode for over 10 years now. And after a decade of playing this game mode, I can say this with confidence. This is easily the most infected-sided finale in the entire game. You are at risk of an instant death throughout almost the whole duration of this finale. And even a bad infected team is going to do well because the odds are so stacked against you here. The guaranteed tank spawn at the end of the bridge on top of the constant risk of an instant death is what lands the Parish this high on the list. Especially in versus mode, this finale is very difficult, but it's also one of my favorites. And finally, sitting at the number 1 spot, we have The Last Stand. The finale of The Last Stand is very, very difficult for one reason. It takes elements from all the other finales and jams it into one. In this finale, you have the standard defend your position segment, afterwards the generator breaks, and then the survivors have to grab cans of gas. And after this is done, the second wave rolls in with a double tank spawn just like the Swamp Fever finale. The whole time this is happening, you're being attacked by waves of common infected, and also keep in mind the nearby cliff. In this finale, bad positioning can quickly lead to an instant death. And after all that is done, the survivors have to then run all the way to the boat. It's not a very long walk, but it still feels like a mini gauntlet of sorts, especially when the tanks are chasing you. The Lighthouse finale has a little bit of everything, which is why I gave it the number 1 spot. The gas cans, the double tank spawn, there is a lot of shit thrown at you here. It offers such a unique challenge when compared to the other campaigns, but again, that's just my opinion. Like I said at the top of this video, there are a lot of factors to consider when ranking the difficulty of a finale, so again, I'd love to see your own rankings in the comments below. If you guys disagree or have anything to add, be sure to let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.